I've been wanting to make this video for a while. I didn't feel like there was a real time and place, but with Nike constantly dropping its value within the stock market, I figured now is a good time. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today, we're talking about something that happened a little while ago, and by a little while ago, I specifically mean 2006. And it was these bad boys right here. This was the 25th anniversary, if you will, of the Nike Air Force 1, and it was with a shoe dubbed the Nike Air Force 25. Now, why do I think that this is relevant right now? Well, because, like I said earlier, Nike is just losing value. I'm talking about like a ton. This though, this is 2006. This was when, I wouldn't say this was their prime. This was like pretty close to their peak though. As far as Nike basketball is concerned, basketball as a category in and of itself within the sneaker realm has also fallen. It used to be the #1 purchased type of footwear. Now it makes up, I think the last time I checked, it was like 3 to 13%, like of the overall sneaker buying market. And I'm not talking about resale. That's not the real sneaker market. I'm talking about brand to consumer or retail to consumer. That's the real market. And this shoe right here is what Nike dubbed, at least at the time, within their own press release. It specifically states, Nike launches the Air Force 25, the signature shoe of Nike basketball. This was what the Hyperdunk would eventually become in 2008, where, this was worn by almost every single Nike athlete on their roster if that athlete didn't already have a signature product on their feet. And the reason why I think that this is so important today in 2024 is because they basically tried to replicate this with the Book 1, and I just don't think that they got anywhere close to this. The tech alone, not even. Visually, sure, but are we selling visuals or are we selling performance? Like, it really just depends on your perspective, but when, again, you're losing $28 billion from a sportswear company, sportswear being the key word here, I think that there's a big problem, and product like this is it. This not the problem. You not releasing product like this anymore is the problem.
Bingo.
And then you packaging it in a PR spun, intricately woven marketing scheme to pitch to the public to where they actually believe it, that the Book 1 is the pinnacle of performance. It's just it's complete bullshit. So this shoe right here blended the old and the new. Jermaine O'Neal himself, within the press release, stated the new Air Force 25 has its roots in the past, but mixes in some new innovations for the future of the game. And while I understand that that was written by a Nike PR person and given to Jermaine O'Neal to just say publicly, he wasn't wrong. The Book 1 didn't do any of that stuff. It, in fact, dumbed down the overall performance package of the product while still giving you visuals. So that's the one thing, like, they did a good job on the way that it looks, but again, it made it look like the Air Force 1, so how hard was that? Whereas this shoe right here, the Air Force 25, not just played up on some of the visuals, but didn't take a direct copy and paste approach to things. They actually tried to innovate the actual upper so that it was better for performance for the modern day in 2006. So the upper itself is comprised of a variety of materials. This particular pair is not my favorite out of the bunch. I really love just the simple white and red colorway. Those featured a really nice leather. These ones feature patent leather, not my favorite thing, although I do love it in certain instances. Insert Air Jordan 11 here. But this was actually part of their Be True to School pack for the shoes. So not only was it paying homage to the Air Force 1, but it was also paying homage to the original ad campaign way back from the 80s with the Nike Dunks and the Terminators and all that stuff, where it was part of the Be True to Your School pack. So that's why we have stuff like this. A lot of actual college athletes in those schools, Nike schools to be specific, were wearing these again in 2006, much like all of their professional athletes in the NBA were. Now the thing is that even though the shoe kind of looks like an Air Force 1, it also looks like its own thing. So if you look at the toe, it's all one seamless piece for containment, and then they've added stitch lines for additional support, and they've done so in a way to where it mimics the Air Force 1, but it's not a complete copy and paste like I was saying before. So if you look at this compared to the Book 1, the Book 1 looks like you took an Air Force 1 and you put it on a different midsole and outsole tooling setup, and you just switch the materials up to a little bit of premium and a little bit of modern. Now in my performance review of the Book 1, I said that was great. It was probably the highlight of the shoe, and that's probably not the best aspect to have as your highlight, is the materials. The materials are probably one of the easiest things to do. I mean, they've been making shoes since when? For ever. How hard is it to source good materials nowadays? It shouldn't be. It's the tech and the actual implementation of that tech that I think is Nike's biggest detriment. It's their budgets and their profit margins. They are adamant about keeping a profit margin so high per product that you're dumbing down the budget to a point to where these design teams have no room to work with. And I know a bunch of you guys are probably sitting here saying, well, the Book 1 was Booker's first signature shoe, and all signature shoes have dumbed down tech at first. To which I would say, if you're looking at Nike basketball's history, that is factually incorrect. If you go all the way back to 1985 with the Air Jordan 1, that at the time was the pinnacle of Nike performance. They put everything they had into that shoe. There were takedowns of those models, yes, and those did not have the same air features that the Air Jordan 1 did. So if you compare the Dunk, which is airless, to the Air Jordan 1, which has air in it, which one is the best shoe? It's simple. Fast forward to 1991 and the Nike Air Command Force. While that wasn't technically a David Robinson signature shoe since it didn't feature his name, it was his shoe. And that shoe featured the best that Nike had to offer at that time. Also in 1991 was the Nike Air Force 180, most notably known to be worn by Charles Barkley, technically his first signature sneaker. And yes, that shoe featured all the best tech from 1991 that you can apply into that sneaker. You can fast forward to 1995 with the Nike Air Penny 1, 4-foot Zoom Air, max air in the heel. Tell me where there's been a dumbed down first signature right there. There hasn't been. Even if you wanted to roll things back to earlier 1995 with the Nike Air Flight 1, which a lot of people consider his first unofficial signature shoe, not only did that shoe feature 4-foot Zoom Air, but it also had air in the heel. While it wasn't an Air Max unit, it was still 4-foot and heel cushion. Dumbed down version? I don't think so. Fast forward to 1997 with the Air Pippin 1, what did that shoe feature? Full-length max air. Fast forward to 1998 with the Zoom Flight 98, aka the gloves, what did that shoe feature? That's right, the best that Nike could offer. And I say all this to say that saying that a first signature shoe should be a dumbed down version of a sneaker is factually incorrect when looking at Nike basketball's history. However, all of these shoes do have takedown models, which would be considered the budget shoe. Nowadays, Nike puts out budget shoes as signatures, and then they give you even more budget shoes. I don't even know what to call them, just they're pieces of and those are the budget shoes, and they feature absolutely nothing in the footwear. It's a complete waste. And they have brainwashed their overall consumer to thinking that the Book 1 that has a rectangle style Zoom Air unit in the heel, granted it was a thick Zoom Air unit, absolutely nothing in the 4-foot, and then Cushlon foam, which is what now Nike uses as its kind of basic foam. It has almost replaced Phylon. There is a big discrepancy there as far as signature premium product and takedown model at this point in time. And with that huge discrepancy, you're seeing all of the people that put their money up to believe in the brand leaving because they can physically see that nothing's happening over there truly innovative. Whereas this shoe right here not only featured the cup sole that was featured on the original Air Force 1, it did it in a way to where it still allows for a lot of mobility and flexibility. You can also see that there's a actual midsole there, so you have a Phylon midsole wrapped and encased in that cup sole. Inside the heel, they show you that there's a max volume air sole unit right in there, and then on top of the entire footbed, full length, is Zoom Air. Yes, full length Zoom Air. This was Nike's signature performance shoe for its athletes. That is no more. Looking at the bottom, you can see that they paid tribute to the original Air Force 1, but they did it in a way that was so aggressive and amazing that they implemented radial and herringbone all in one. And if you think that this looks familiar, you'd be right. They did that for the Air Jordan 1 Alpha, which was a more modern, I guess, take on the Air Jordan 1, where it was made for performance and not just for lifestyle. Oh, and you see that thing right there? Yeah, that's carbon fiber. Do we see that in basketball shoes today? We'll be lucky if we get a rectangle shank plate right there made out of plastic. They had additional premium features that were not necessarily made for performance. These laces right here, for one, are awesome. The aglets are also tipped in metal. If you look inside the collar area, you have what looks like Nike Sphere technology, so the crater system. It was touted as a moisture wicking system, but after speaking with the people that actually helped create and implement this stuff into their footwear, it was actually originally intended to mold to your foot so that you had a kind of custom shape around your ankle area of the shoe. And quite possibly one of the biggest areas that all brands skimp out on nowadays would be the insole that comes with the shoe. While this isn't a fantastic insole, it is a performance insole, which is better than most. So not only do you have the typical standard foam, but you also have 2 additional pour-on inserts. You know what that means? That means that you're getting so much cushion in this product right here that I don't even know what a player would do with it. I'm telling you, this shoe right here is mad comfortable. You've got cushion within the insole directly under your foot. Directly underneath that, you've got full length zoom. Underneath that, there's a max air sole unit in the heel, and then all of that stuff is embedded within Phylon foam. Is your mouth watering yet? Because mine is. So yeah, I think that Nike Basketball can definitely fix this and turn this around. I think that they need a lot of personnel changes. They need leadership change, most importantly. When your leadership will not make good product like this, then the brand overall is going to suffer. Unfortunately, the brand has currently pushed out everybody that built the brand and made it what it was, and they've brought in people that just don't quite understand it. And it's really unfortunate because they're kind of ruining the legacy that the other people built, and that's a big bummer. So yeah, I don't know if you guys are going to agree with me or not. Personally, facts don't have feelings, so you know, everything that I said I believe is factual, and I do believe that they could turn it around, like I said before. So all they got to do is just come together and work as an actual unit. Get people that understand the game of basketball. You don't have to have people in there that play the game. That would be great, but they also have to be able to understand, comprehend, and then articulate all of that information and knowledge into product. And until they're able to do that, again, I just don't see them being number one for very long. But with all that being said, do we happen to have time for a question of the day? I know that I went on a long ass thing.
I know, I found one that's very simple.
Short and sweet? Okay.
Yes. For the rest of your life, would you rather have the Jordan Cement 3 or the Cement 4, and you could never wear the other one ever again?
Which Cement 3 are we talking about? Black cement or white cement?
They didn't specify.
And which Cement 4? Black cement?
I know,
or
so
white
you would
cement?
have to pick.
Okay, well, let me categorize them as both black cements versus both white cements. If I'm talking about the black cements, first off, that's fucking hard. Black Cement 3 is beautiful. Black Cement 4, maybe more beautiful, I don't know. And the 4 is my favorite model, but I will say 3s are a little bit more comfortable. However, I'm gonna very loosely pick the Black Cement 3, mostly because the leather upper lasts longer than the synthetic upper of the black cements. However, we're moving over to the white cements. I'm picking the white Cement 4 all day. That's not only my favorite Air Jordan, but it's my favorite Air Jordan colorway of all time. And I don't know what it is about them, but every time I see them, it's just amazing. Like every time. And this has been this way since I was a kid. And so for a shoe to have that type of grasp on your brain for that long, it means that it's just one of the GOATs. With all that being said, which ones do you choose? You can keep them categorized if you want. I won't be mad at you. I know that I broke the rules, so there you go. And on top of all of that, what do you think about stuff like this? The Air Force 25, it pulled from the Air Force 1, much like the Book 1 did. The Book 1 is a signature shoe, which is supposed to separate itself from every other shoe within Nike's catalog on the shelf at the moment. It's supposed to be better than them. It's a premium product. And this, a non-signature shoe, even though Nike touted it as their overall signature shoe, which they did again in 2008 with the Hyperdunk line, bring people back that know how to do this, and you guys will be fine. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. We will catch you guys on the next one. So until then, y'all have a good one.